I did not expect to say this out loud, but Wendy Williams is saying goodbye in a way none of us were ready for. Her team shared that she's living with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, which slowly steals language and judgment over time. That means words can slip, pauses stretch too long, and everyday choices get harder, even when the spirit inside still feels bright. Add that to years of Graves' disease and lymphedema, and the body that once danced in heels now measures wins in small steps. It hurts to watch, and I'll be honest, a part of me wanted to look away because it felt too raw. But hiding it would be a lie, and Wendy built her whole career on telling the truth, even the sharp parts. If this sounds like the kind of messy but real talk you want more of, that's what we do here at Golden American Legends. So yeah, subscribe if you want in. What changed most is not just fame or fortune, it's the daily rhythm, the way language itself can feel like a slippery stair. Still, there's dignity here because she allowed the world to know rather than vanish into rumor. It makes me rethink those shaky clips and confusing moments because context is not an excuse, but it is a light. Does this diagnosis finally explain those moments that worried you? Stay with me, because the road to this moment began long before television, in rooms where no one could even see her face. I picture her under that red on-air light, alone, heart beating like a drum you can't mute. Fresh from Northeastern, she tried radio in the islands, and it felt like exile, not paradise. She mailed tapes, waited, got silence, mailed more, and then the door cracked open in Washington and Philadelphia when she was just 22. At Power 99, she did something wild for that era. She turned gossip into hot topics, but she also turned herself inside out. She spoke about addiction and miscarriages not as stunts, but as scars with names. That was her magic and her risk. Every sentence could be a bridge or a trap. I think about that a lot because I love facts, but I also love feelings. And Wendy stitched both together like a DJ with two aching records spinning. By the time she reached WBLS in New York, the city was loud, and she got louder. Unfiltered, direct, sometimes too sharp, but always present. Listeners did not just tune in, they leaned in. They felt seen by a voice that was not afraid to shake. That tightrope act made enemies, sure, but it built a loyal crowd that followed her to daytime TV. Did you feel like you knew her back then, even though you had never seen her? Because the next chapter took that voice and put it under brighter lights where every wink and wince became public record. In 2008, Wendy walked onto daytime like she was kicking open a heavy door. She brought hot topics to the couch, said how you doing with that mix of wink and truth, and suddenly the noon hour felt like group therapy with glitter. A Black woman leading daytime for 13 seasons was a big deal, and, some people cheered while others winced. That was the deal she made with honesty. 5 shows a week, almost an hour each, is a grind that eats sleep and nerves. Then the body started warning her. On Halloween 2017, in that Statue of Liberty costume, she collapsed live and came back with a smile that looked a little like armor. Graves' disease, lymphedema, the swelling, the fatigue, the hands that shook when they held the cards. By 2020, the private battles were heavier, and in June 2022, the show ended without her walking out to say goodbye. Later that year, a court put her under financial guardianship, which, for someone who built an empire on independence, had to feel like a second exile. I hate that sentence, but it's true. It explains why money and decisions looked different and why privacy suddenly had thicker walls. Do you remember where you were when you realized the chair might stay empty? Because behind the sets and headlines was a home life cracking, and that's where the cost gets painfully human. Here's the part that stings, because careers are loud, but loss is quiet. Her first marriage ended fast, tangled with addiction and silence. Then came Kevin Hunter. Vows said soft, hope said louder, and then the miscarriages. Again and again, the kind of grief you carry in your chest like wet sand. In 2000, her son arrived, and she called him her saving grace. That line gets me every time. Years later, betrayal shattered the marriage, and the divorce in 2019 into 2020 felt like an earthquake because he was also her manager, her partner in contracts and plans. Then her mother passed, and the floor dropped out a second time. I can hear the echo of those empty rooms, the trophies that don't hug you back. I'm not above this, by the way. My own family has faced dementia, and I still catch myself talking around it instead of to it, like grief is a room I keep walking past. That's the contradiction. We want honesty, and we also want comfort, and sometimes they do not arrive together. If you've cared for someone with dementia, what surprised you most? Hold that thought, because now we're here, in the fragile present, where support matters more than speculation. Today, Wendy's world is smaller, but her echo is not. Primary progressive aphasia makes words slippery, frontotemporal dementia blurs judgment, and lymphedema turns walking into work, yet she still chose to share the truth instead of hiding behind curtains. That is courage without makeup. No promises here, no neat bows, just respect. If you want to support, lead with kindness, not curiosity. Drop a heart for her if that feels right, and be gentle when you see someone searching for a word. Legacies are funny. They are not made by perfect people. They're made by people who keep showing up. Wendy changed daytime by being loud, and she is teaching us something new by being quiet. Thank you for watching and sitting in this with me. If this felt like the kind of honest, messy story you want more of, subscribe to Golden American Legends and keep exploring with us. There are more episodes waiting, from legends who soared to those who stumbled, and what those arcs can teach all of us. When the voice you built your life on begins to fade, what kind of love do you want to be remembered for?